Happy Friday. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon here. Welcome to EST Afternoons. I'm Hernan Salas, joined by Joaquin Gage and, of course, Zachticum producing the show. We got a fun one for you today to close out the week. We'll be joined by Bryan DeArdo from CBS Sports to just talk some NFL heading into the weekend. We'll also be joined by Edmonton Oil Kings head coach Luke Pierce at 2:30. He'll join us as they have their home opener tomorrow at 2 p.m. as they take on the Calgary Hitmen. And the one and only Matthew Iwanyk, Gager, at 2:45 live from the casino. He'll give us a quick his thoughts on Elks-Bombers, and Bryan DeArdo once again at 1:20. Gager, my man, how you doing? You had me worried. I know you were in a meeting, but it was about 12:40 and you still hadn't rolled in, so I was a little concerned.
No, nothing. You know what concerns me is it's a good thing that we're not at war right now, because the aim of people here is horrible. I was just in the bathroom. I don't think anyone's hit the toilet all week. It is terrible in there. It smells like the otter cage at the zoo. I just had to go.
Oh my God.
I had to go grab the Pine Sol and stuff, and like everyone's got to start sitting around here.
Yes.
This is a joke.
No
It's
more
crazy.
standing allowed in the bathroom.
Holy smokes, you guys. You couldn't hit anything. No wonder you never played hockey. There would be 0 goals scored this week at EST because no one has hit that bowl.
Oh, I did not see that one.
Wow.
Like always, you can listen to us on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, or watch us on the EST YouTube channel. Of course, you can connect with us on the Nasty Chat on YouTube or hit us up on the text line 780-218-99. Let's get those thumbs up, I guess, on this Friday. And reminder, we will be at the Centric Casino on Fort Road for the Edmonton Elks watch party. We're going to be watching the Elks fight for their playoff lives.
That'll be good.
As they take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 6 o'clock. Make sure you're there. A lot of great specials. You can bet on the ponies. You can hit the tables, Gager. You a big gambler?
It used to be. I don't do it that much.
I might sprinkle a bit on the roulette wheel.
I heard
there.
you saying you're breaking the piggy bank. So
yeah, breaking the piggy bank today.
Or should I have said that? Is the old lady watching?
Probably, yeah.
Yike. Sorry.
Break the piggy bank and sprinkle a few dollars on a few different things. But it is going to be a fun night, of course. The Elks and Bombers at 6. The Oilers return to action tomorrow, 7 p.m. down at Rogers Place as they take on the Seattle Kraken. KJ, where do you want to start? Elks? You want to talk about this NHL top 50 list? You want to talk about the very boring Thursday nighter once again? Or where do you want to go?
Oh, yeah. That was flag football. And that was terrible.
That was terrible.
I don't. We can maybe touch on it later. I want to touch on why I got all emotional before getting in here late and hearing this discussion about it's.
No, go ahead. Finish your thoughts.
You guys, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the too much urine smell that's gotten to your heads in here with your decisions on starting a team. Yeah, you don't. It's a no-brainer. You're starting a franchise from scratch. And we were just having this heated discussion, and Matthew Iwanyk and I are on the same page. Obviously, the most intelligent guys here is, and I know this is probably going to be a little bit unpopular, but it's Cale Makar.
Okay, so the premise is I printed off TSN's top 50 NHL player list. We were going through it. I got a few bones to pick on this list as well. But so I guess what we're getting at is you'd have Cale Makar higher.
Yeah,
6.
Way higher than 6.
Okay, where would you have him?
1B with Connor McDavid, essentially.
Okay, 1B.
I could interchange the first pick between Cale Makar and Connor McDavid.
Okay, so the argument we were having here at the EST studios was if you were starting a team today, who would you pick, Connor McDavid or Cale Makar? We want to hear from you on the inbox at 780-218-9999. And take off the Oiler goggles for this one. And because Gage is going to give you his reason and why he thinks it's Cale Makar. Me and Trevor split. We said Connor McDavid. Matthew Iwanyk and Gager said it was Cale Makar. Zach, you're the tiebreaker here. Where would you go?
Now, I get wanting to pick either or, and like Cale Makar, man, he's just fantastic. And it's really hard to not be biased here, especially when you're in the city where Connor McDavid plays. Like, we're watching him every single game that he plays. But I got to agree. Like, it's like a 1A, 1B. But Gager brought up the fact that like right-handed defensemen don't grow on trees, and just a phenomenal franchise talent like that, like generational almost talent like that, Cale Makar, doesn't come often. And you could say the same thing about Connor McDavid, but I think finding forwards is a little bit easier, especially if you're starting your team from scratch. Like if you get to pick one of those players, kind of a little bit younger too.
Yeah.
I almost want to go with Cale Makar, but at heart, I got to pick Connor McDavid. Like, I don't know. I get why you pick Makar and you're passionate about it though,
Hey,
Gager.
so you're reasoning for Makar, Gager, because and this is not a knock on Connor McDavid. Let's be clear. Yeah, of course
but
not.
the first thing, and I know Connor McDavid can influence a game, but he can't play 35 minutes or 30 to 35 minutes. Cale Makar can. And speaking, this obviously has something to do as a goalie. It was way more difficult going into a game when the main player that we had to worry about was the defenseman, where they generated the offense.
Yeah.
It's a completely different animal. Like, all we talk about here, like, what have we been talking about for the past 2 weeks?
We need defense.
Defense. How are we going to get the puck to these really talented offensive players? What happens if that defenseman is that guy and he just automatically beats that first forechecker and is part of the rush? And not only that, like, I hate to remind Oilers fans of a few years ago when the Oilers went up against they were a wagon, okay? The Colorado Avalanche were on a different level compared to everyone else, and I understand that. But if you go back, and if that's still on the PVR, watch how well Cale Makar defended against Connor McDavid. Like, he was taking him out skating backwards. Like, it was a joke. Stripping Connor McDavid from the puck and moving it to, of all people, Nathan McKinnon and Rantanen. Like,
That's pretty good.
It's a completely different way and that's why I just think when you start a franchise, Cale Makar is the unicorn. Look, I mean, Matthias Ekholm, when he came here, it was like, oh my gosh, look at how great this guy is on the defensive. Cale Makar is Matthias Ekholm and Connor McDavid on both sides of the puck. You just don't get that. You can't find that ever. And yeah, I'm sorry. Connor McDavid is ridiculous. I realize that. But you can just influence a game way more from the back end, and Cale Makar is fantastic.
Yeah, Tate say Cale can't stay healthy. Norman the Combine says, I'm 55-45, take Makar. Jason and Leduc, if Makar is 1B, how can you not pick 1A, Gager? On the Nasty Chat, Trent H says, how is it not McDavid? But I probably would take Makar second over Draisaitl. And then Penner's Pancake says, Sportsnet list is McDavid 1, McKinnon 2, Makar 3. And again, listen, Makar's fantastic. Any team would want him. I love watching him play. But when I look at Connor McDavid, he might go down as the best player in the history. Where Makar's going to be always compared to the Lidstroms, the Prongers, right? Like, and he's great. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think it's still Connor McDavid. And I know defense wins championships, and I know if the Oilers had a guy like Makar, holy smokes, Gager, they'd be already one cup in, right? But I think they're both great. I mean, there's no discussion here. There's no discussion, but Connor McDavid might go down as a great. We've never seen anyone like Connor McDavid. Anyone.
Yeah. And we come from a society, if you don't win the big one, it tarnishes the legacy for sure. But Cale Makar's done it, right? He's solidified it. He's touching records again, like Connor McDavid, that we thought would never be touched with what he's done. He's been compared to Orr, to Bork, to Lidstrom. The fact that we're saying this, and look, Nick Lidstrom, when he retired, who were we comparing anyone to Nick Lidstrom with? Nobody. No one.
Yeah.
Until this kid comes out of college, plays in the playoffs, and you're like, who the hell are you all of a sudden, as they say on the morning show? Like, it's a joke how good this is. And maybe I'm slightly, like, I defer to the defensive side of the puck, but that's what marvels me the most is the way he can separate guys puck from player physically, with skill, his stick. Like, you hear people talk about Lidstrom. His stick was just ridiculous. Like, he didn't take any penalties. Like, it's his skating ability, his defensive awareness, his puck IQ, the way this guy, I mean, he dances on the blue line and makes people look completely stupid. Man, I'm too much of a Cale Makar fan. I don't know, but yeah, this list is a joke.
All right, so I'll give you the top 10. Connor McDavid at 1. At number 2, Nathan MacKinnon. Number 3, Austin Matthews. At number 4, Leon Draisaitl, followed by Nikita Kucherov at 5. Cale Makar at 6. 7, David Pastrnak. 8, Quinn Hughes. 9, Artemi Panarin. And at 10, Mikko Rantanen. So you have 3 Colorado Avalanche and 2 Edmonton Oilers in the top 10. You have 4 Edmonton Oilers in the top 50. Evan Bouchard comes in at number 30. And Zach Hyman at number 35 here. Obviously, the Sportsnet list, thanks to Penner's Pancakes, rounds out. They have Leon at 5. And it's pretty much this. They have Crosby still at 9. The other question I want to get to, should Ovechkin be in this list still?
I think he can sneak in, but it's like 45 to 50. Like, what did he have? 41 goals last year?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
and he scored goals. This is another. What's up with this list? Like, this guy, he scored, like, he should be 45 to 50 right now. This guy didn't score all year, then went nuts and was the big like, he scored a big goal on the last goal of the season so they could make the playoffs. I think he scored the first goal of the game. So
he scored 31 last year, and that was he had a really slow start. Gage.
Obviously, the guy that made this list has been in this bathroom huffing the fumes in there, because this is a joke.
Vortex coming in. This one says Cale hasn't played a full season since he came into the league. Tate, that's a really good point. This one, no name. Cale's defense is massively overrated. He's decent defensively, but not as good as you're making him out to be. Herb's host says, if you're starting a franchise, would you even consider Darnell Nurse on your defense? That would stir the pot just a little bit. And this one says, love how he looks like a lawyer hurt in a car. Call Cale Makar. Whatever that means. Matt Hyman on the Nasty Chat said, if I'm building a franchise, it definitely starts with 97. JT Shark says, Ovi woke up last in the season. I think last half of the season. And then Rob from the Grove says, this is a tough topic. It is. And listen, the Oilers fans are always going to be a little bit more biased because it's their guy, right?
Yeah.
It's their guy. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Cale Makar. I think he's fantastic. But I think just what Connor McDavid, the reason I would go with him is because we've never seen anything like him. Where Cale Makar, there's comparables. And he's great. He is. He's, like you said, the Nick Lidstrom of this generation, and there's nothing to take away from him. There's good points being made on both sides, but the injury one is a big one as well. And the Ovechkin. Do you think Ovechkin should still be in the top 50?
Hey, look, I'm mad enough with the Cale Makar thing. Don't get me on the Ovechkin stuff, too.
Because I know me and Dusty were talking with you two, Trev, and me and Dusty were like, he should be in there, at least from 30 to 50. And you said 40.
35 to 40, I can understand it but come on.
Like Robert Thomas at 48. Nothing away from the kid. He had a great season, but should he be in the top 50 players at this point in his career? I don't think so.
Oh, jeez. The real not so sincere. What is this? Makar is number 2, 2 number 1 defensemen in 1. Yeah. He's unreal defensively best. So he's basically, I believe, this comparison is he's the best on both sides of the puck, which he is. This is... I don't know who said that. Who said that he's overrated. Watch a game. Watch this guy.
Penner's Pancakes says we could easily debate this all day. Ovi is not on the Sportsnet top 50 either. Wow. This one says from above average. Caps coach doesn't even play Ovi in overtime. Why do you think that is?
He's a defensive liability. He's trying to break Gretzky's record. Where would you stand? He's at the red line. It's a 6-on-3.
This guy's going to go down as the greatest goal scorer of all time.
He is the greatest goal scorer of all time.
He will be. Yeah, exactly. So for me, I think Ovi should be there. I'm okay with where Makar is right now. Yeah. I mean, Leon Draisaitl, McKinnon, and Austin Matthews, I think they get the bump because of the forwards and all the points and all that. So I'll give him a pass on that one. JT Shark says Ovi is playing just to try to pass 99. Well, why wouldn't you?
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Zach, great job. I saw you put the poll question up. What are we looking at right now?
Let me check that right here. I got to cast my vote as well. Right now, 23% say Cale Makar. Oh, it shifted. 26% say Cale Makar.
Wow.
It's about
It's a little biased.
Three-quarters of the nasties in the YouTube chat are saying Connor McDavid.
Nasties are in the bathroom. Rob the plumber, to go back to the reason why I'm a little bit fired. Like it was a compounding thing. Good afternoon, guys. Gager, as a father with 3 daughters, I fully understand and appreciate your comment about piss being everywhere. I am also a plumber. When guys in any bathroom of any sort piss everywhere, or where it needs to be. Absolutely nasty. Got to be better. Great show. Keep it up, fellas. Thanks.
We need a mop in there. That's for sure.
No,
yeah.
we need to hit the toilet. Jesus.
And flush it, too.
That's a guy's answer. Well, let's just get a mop. Let's just mop it up, all the mess. Just hit the water. I mean, I got to put, you know what I did as a father? Okay, this is what you do as a father. Like any young fathers with boys in there, you want to make sure they hit the thing. All you do, go grab some Fruit Loops. Go grab some Fruit Loops, throw it in, 10 points for a green, 20 for a red, and 2 for a yellow. I don't know why. That was my point system. You throw those in the toilet, don't have to worry about it forever. I'm getting Fruit Loops for the boys here.
Yes. We'll continue the debate on Makar, McDavid, and Ovi not being in the top 50s NHL list on either list, TSN or Sportsnet. But we got to switch gears here. Coming up in the next segment, we will be joined by Bryan DeArdo from CBSSports.com as we'll talk some NFL. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons. But first up, here's a sports update with Zach.
It's Elks-Bombers tonight with the entire EST crew having a watch party down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the action. Come hang out with all the nasties and all the crew here with kickoff at 6 p.m. In BC, the 5-9 Ticats play the 7-7 Lions. That game goes at 8:30. NHL preseason continues with the Avs and Stars, Preds and Lightning, as well as the Kraken and Canucks with the opening game at 4 o'clock. The Oilers get back at it tomorrow against the Seattle Kraken. Jets defenseman Logan Stanley is undergoing knee surgery and will be out a minimum of 4 weeks. The Jets game tonight goes at 6. Jets veteran forward Brian Little will sign a one-day contract to retire as a Jet. Little will celebrate his career October 20th when the Jets host the Pens. Raiders wide receiver Devontae Adams and DB Max Crosby have been ruled out for Sunday's game against the Browns. Bears wide receiver Keenan Allen is also questionable for that one. Right after the break, Bryan DeArdo from CBSSports.com joins EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road. Park Mazda does.
1:23 Friday afternoons. Wonderful day out there, Gager. It's absolutely beautiful there. Reminder, we're going to be, the whole EST crew will be down at the Century Casino Fort Road for Elks-Bombers. That's 6 o'clock kickoff. That's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, as we're just ahead of Bryan DeArdo from CBS Sports. We're going to go around the NFL and touch on that game yesterday that you called flag football, and that was not incorrect, because that game was just a snore fest.
Well, the thing is, I think they could have done something. Like, the refs ruined it a little bit. Not that it would have been just a complete great game, but it just took so much momentum out of it. And, the Giants seemed to be pushing at times, and there was so many plays called back.
Yeah.
Everyone would do something, and then you'd see the flag little thing pop up, and I'm just like, come on. And then they'd show the call. Really?
Just let them play,
them play a little bit.
Yeah.
They ruined already bad game and made it worse with those. But I think it could have been okay to watch, but the refs made it unbearable.
Yeah, as we now bring in Bryan DeArdo from CBSSports.com. Bryan, how you doing this Friday afternoon? Oh, got some issues there once again. Bryan, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you guys?
We're doing excellent. Can't complain here. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I guess we'll get right to it, and let's start off with the Thursday night game that was a penalty-filled and not too exciting, but the Dallas Cowboys picked up a much-needed win over the New York Giants, 20-15, but it was a costly one as they lost DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons to injury. What did you make of that game last night?
I actually was somewhat impressed with the Cowboys' performance. It wasn't pretty, as you alluded to. A 20-15 game. Dallas' offense looked a lot crisper in the first half. Dak Prescott looked great. CeeDee Lamb, that combo kind of looked the way that we kind of anticipated it would the whole year, and now consistently going to look that way. They kind of more played ball control in the second half and did the things they needed to do to win. The Giants were a desperate team, trying to kind of stay in the early race to try to grab one of those playoff spots and be relevant 2 months from now. And so, anytime you get, a short week, two division rivals, you're playing on the road, style points are kind of thrown out the window. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, those injuries you alluded to, Lawrence and Parsons are pretty significant. Parsons, there's no timetable on his return. Lawrence will be a few weeks. If there's a benefit for the Cowboys right now, it is time. They are going to have 9 days between last night's game and the Steelers game on Sunday night. And then after that, they host Detroit. And then after that, they go into their bye. So Lawrence should at most probably miss these next two games. He should be back after that. Parsons, I would imagine they're going to be smart, hold him out, through the bye week. But he is going to miss the Steelers game, which is important. The Lions game, as far as seeding and positioning with the Lions, that's going to hurt as well. But the one issue that the Cowboys have is depth. That depth is obviously going to be tested now, but it might be a good test for them to see if their backups can stand up. Because, as you all know, injuries are inevitable in the NFL for every team. So it's better to know what you have with your depth now than try to find out in December or January if you make the playoffs.
Bryan, you mentioned already the performance from Dak Prescott in this, and obviously signing the big deal, and the way the past few weeks have gone, it didn't really, winning ugly was probably, almost liked in the case of the Cowboys. Now, just with a little bit extra confidence, going up against a Steelers team that is very stingy on defense, what do you think that does for the Cowboys moving forward? And can Dak kind of get back to being the performer that contract sort of dictates he become?
That's a good question. Now, I must say, last time I was on this program, I believe it was in the summer, and I said the Steelers would be pretty good, and I got some flack for it. I'm usually wrong, but I'm gonna go ahead and take my victory right now before the Steelers start to lose here. But so back to Dak, I think really the thing that I liked about last night was he did what was required to win, and I think that's important, mm-hmm. right? Like, I think when you look back at every quarterback that's ever played that's been in the Hall of Fame or has had careers that have gone to the Hall of Fame, it's not always 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. It could be you get the lead early, you sit in the second half, you run the ball, you make a few timely plays, you do it just enough to win the game. And I think that's what is important at the end of the day. And it's what Terry Bradshaw said, Tom Brady has said, Ben Roethlisberger, all these Hall of Fame guys. It all comes down to winning, right? And so for him to throw for I think 164 in the first half, couple of touchdowns. His numbers weren't much better in the second half. I know this because I have him on my fantasy team and I benched him. So I was very upset in the first half. Wasn't as upset at the end of the game. But, fantasy notwithstanding, that's what you need to do. You need to do what it takes to win every game. And sometimes, again, that's going to mean a shootout. But like, look at last Sunday when he put up much better yards statistically and they lost, right? Like, I would rather have Dak Prescott last night than Dak Prescott in that game, right? The fact that he can do both, the fact that he can win ugly is a big sign for me, and I think that's going to be the big sign moving forward is can Dak win games in different ways? Can the Cowboys win games in different ways?
Bryan DeArdo from CBSSports.com joining us here on EST Afternoons. Bryan, what's going on with the Cincinnati Bengals? They sit at 0-3. Their last 2 games a lot closer than the first one, and they got the Carolina Panthers this week. But is this a team that we're just waiting for a turnaround, or are they just a bad team right now?
I think it's both. I don't think they're bad. Let me backtrack a second. Yeah. I don't think they're bad. I don't think there's if you look at like 2021 to now, those 4 teams, this is probably maybe the weakest of those teams. Maybe a little better than last year. I might be willing to say that. But I think they've had to replace quite a few guys on defense. They lost Jesse Bates a year ago. Dax Hill, their former first-round pick, who they thought was going to replace him, was so bad at safety that he got moved to corner, and he was burned by McLaurin on the game-winning touchdown on Monday night. So clearly some of the guys they brought in to replace some of the defensive guys they've lost haven't panned out. But I think it comes down to execution more than anything. There's some personnel things that where they're not as strong, but they're still, we all know this is an offensive league now. So when you've got Joe Burrow, you've got Jamar Chase, you've got T. Higgins, you're in it. Even now at 0-3, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they went 10-7 and went, and made the playoffs from here on out. I wouldn't be surprised. But, more than personnel, though, they've got to stop, shooting themselves in the foot. I think even Monday night, I think Joe Burrow would have had a touchdown pass to T. Higgins, but he threw the ball too high, right? They lost too many possession downs against Washington where they had it stopped and they weren't able to convert. Missing a field goal right before the half. Little things like that add up. And I think, you look back to the New England game, it was offensive mistakes. Defensively, they were all right. The second game, pass interference late in the game. The previous drive, Jamar Chase gets a 15-yard penalty, which forces them to kick a field goal. So I just think that there's just too many of those execution things. And you do wonder, with all the contract drama they've had there, with some of the past frustration of being close but not getting over the top, you wonder if the window is starting to close, which is crazy to say because Joe Burrow is still really young. But you do start to wonder. But I will say this, and I'll leave it here. This is a must-win for them. Yeah. You can bury them with a shovel if they lose in Carolina. But if they win, they'll be in the same spot they were last year, 1-3.
Bryan, this is a kind of a selfish question, but I wouldn't really even know about it if it wasn't for TikTok. But it's to do with the college football situation with Matthew Sulka coming over from, I believe it was Holy Trinity to UNLV. This whole being promised $100,000 from the assistant coach allegedly, and the head coach saying it's not now with him saying that he's going to leave the team. What's your opinion on how this is played out, and what's going to happen moving forward with these promises of deals for kids essentially to come to their school's program?
Man, that is an awesome question. And if I had the answer, I would be making a lot more money and I would be retired in about 2 years. But I don't. But that's a great question. I think it's a great step as far as NIL and everything they're doing now. I think it's a great step that we're now. They've been paying players for years. There's been illegal benefits for years. dating back to Marcus Dupree in the 80s and Eric Dickerson at the same time span. So at least now it's all out there. But I think that things need to be more black and white. There's a lot of gray right now where teams can just throw money at players or programs rather, and there's not a lot of governing, right? Which is crazy because for decades the NCAA overgoverned, right? They were taking away championships years after the fact and stuff. And as an Ohio State alum, as much as I hate the fact that Michigan cheated and cost us probably a national championship, I'm glad they're not taking it away because I hate the retroactive punishments. I just think it needs to be more black and white. I think it needs to be more, okay, here's how much your football program has to spend, and here's how much you can spend on X players or this, that, or the other. I just think there needs to be more overall consistency with how we're doing these things, not just leading it to the teams. It still is fascinating to me. I mean, I used to work at a Division III school where we had a guy transfer between Division III schools and needed to stay out a year, which was ridiculous. We've gone from that to this. So I do like the fact that players have a lot more freedom, but I do think it's gotten a little too far on the other side. And I think more official guidelines that everybody has to adhere to. And you also need to make stiff penalties, right? Like, no one wants to hand out the death penalty. Like, SMU never recovered from that. But I think if you have much, like, tougher penalties for any kind of violation, like Michigan, for example, you offer the death penalty for video recording, they're not going to do that, I wouldn't think. So I think tougher penalties and more guidelines that everybody has to follow, I think is the best way to do it.
Bryan, 3 rookie quarterbacks started the season as their team starters: Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, and Jaden Daniels. What have you made of the progression of these 3 guys? It's early, but what have you seen in the first 3 weeks from these rookie quarterbacks?
That's a great question. I think we'll start with Nix because he was the guy I was probably the highest on in the summer. Okay. And that's kind of what, preseason is kind of fool's gold. I'm not going to lie. I think there's things you can glean from it. I love his moxie. I love his decisiveness, which is rare for a young guy. But once you saw defenses actually scheming and doing exotic things against him, you started to see him, I don't want to say whimper away, but he definitely is a little bit more gun-shy than he was. Like, I remember I covered the game, they faced the Steelers in week 2. I thought he was a little gun-shy. His numbers ultimately at the end of the day looked good, but that was a lot of dinking and dunking. There was a lot of throwing when they were already behind by double digits. Like, I think that he was a little bit more decisive this past week in Tampa, but that was a lot of because his defense did so well, putting him in good spots. And I'm not knocking him. Like, that's what Denver's going to need. Like, he's going to need his defense to continue to do that as he continues to progress. And Sean Payton allows him to take more chances. Because you wonder, is he being the one that's being conservative, or is that Payton not allowing him to take more shots? You go to Daniels, I've kind of gone all over the place with him. I mean, you watch him in college, he looks so effortless. And you actually wondered, like, is it going to be too much of a jump to go from how easy it looked in college to now where it's not going to be as easy, right? We saw that with Justin Fields in Chicago. But, he's in a really good situation. Like, not a perfect one. Like, that line's not amazing. And he takes a lot of shots that I don't like. But his talent's undeniable. He gets rid of the ball so fast, it's hard for defenses to anticipate where he's going to throw. I mean, that's kind of what has been a big strength of Rodgers. He doesn't rely on his legs a ton, but he still does. And like I said, that line is still not great. And so teams are going to continue to put pressure on him. I wish they had a little bit stronger of a running game. It's good with Robinson, Eckler, but neither of those guys are just true pounders like a David Montgomery. That's what I'd like to see, but I really love Daniels. I mean, I think easily so far he's been the best performer of the 3 and is the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And lastly with Williams, I just think the game comes so naturally to him, and it's been so easy for him for so long that he's struggling to kind of rein it in. Like, he's the opposite of Nix, where he literally thinks he's at USC. Like, and honestly, I think it's to a fault. Like, it's certainly, I think what can help him now is these mistakes he's making. He hopefully is learning from these things. From the outside looking in, if I was a Bears fan, I wouldn't like the fact that it doesn't seem like he takes a lot of accountability for his mistakes, or he just kind of shrugs it off. Like, I would be pretty upset because I think this team is actually on the cusp of being a playoff team, and I think his mistakes are really hurting them. So, but that's the fine line you have to balance, right? Like, the line between being risky and learning from it as a rookie and being, like personally, the last thing I'll say is I think the Bears are going to lose 3 more games than they should this year, and a lot of it's going to be because of Williams. Are they going to be able to live with that, or is that going to cost their head coach's job? And we'll have to find out. But we'll see also if Williams plays smarter down the stretch or just learns from these things and cuts back on the turnovers.
Brian, one last one here for you. And as a Niners fan, I got to ask you, are they going to be okay here? Because at 1 and 2, it's not looking too good, and the defense has not looked too good in the last 2 games. What do you make of the 49ers? I know they've dealt with a lot of injuries so far and not having CMC and all that, but what do you make of the San Francisco 49ers?
They probably are really bummed out they gave Iwanyk all that money because he hasn't. He has been awful so far.
Yes.
Just awful. Just like he's on pace to average like $800,000 a catch or something. Like, it's ridiculous. So I think that there's not much margin for error. I'll say that. I ranked the teams recently this week on CBS, all the losing teams with our teams with losing records, their chances of making the playoffs. I think I had the Niners second behind the Ravens. And what I wrote is they have so much depth that they can overcome injuries better than anybody. You look at what Jordan Mason's done with McCaffrey out. Jawan Jennings, who they also signed to an extension, has kind of stepped up with Iwanyk being MIA and Kittle being injured and McCaffrey and everything. They still have Purdy, who I think has had a little bit of a back issue, but he's been solid. That defense still has enough weapons, but they can't afford much more, right? If Bosa gets hurt, 2 things have to happen for them, or 3 things really. They need to get healthier. McCaffrey reportedly went to Germany to get a second opinion. And I hope he had a cream puff because German. I really don't like a lot of German food, but their cream puffs are amazing. So hopefully he had a couple of those. They need to get healthier. They need to not have any more big injuries like to Bosa or Purdy or anybody else. But the other thing is they can't blow games like they did against the Rams, like last week. That was inexcusable. Mm-hmm. And I know it's a rivalry game, and I know that the Rams still have Stafford, but that's inexcusable because you look at all the injuries they have. I mean, they are, I think, maybe the only other team that has as many injuries as the Niners do. So those 3 things, but ultimately I still think they're a playoff team. But it won't be easy for them. I think that they're going to battle to even win that division because I think the Cardinals might give them a scare if they keep winning games here.
Yeah, Brian, great stuff. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon. Enjoy the game Sunday and the 2 on Monday. And once again, thank you for all the great NFL knowledge you gave us today.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
All right. That's Bryan DeArdo from CBSSports.com. Great breakdown. Great question, Gage. I didn't see that one coming. But,
I
it's
saw
always
it.
interesting.
I saw it last night, and I was like, I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. Right? So this NCAA and stuff, more so with the hockey stuff, but that just popped up last night. So I thought, I didn't know if he was really... obviously being from the States, that's probably a big topic right now. So I just wanted to hear his take.
It was interesting what he said about Caleb Williams about he doesn't really own his mistakes. And this is kind of like his reputation, like the hotshot college guy.
But you have to do that a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But you can't be that guy that's never your fault.
No,
right?
But it's like I equate it to a boxer. When they're getting hyped, they're the toughest, they're the best. You got to do it because he's not.
Yeah,
right? It's like George Costanza always said. It's not a lie if you believe it.
I got to get to this text at 780-218-9999. Waddy in Cloverdale says, Dusty drinking 4 ciders, then trying to aim from 5 feet up. So are we blaming this on Dusty?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing here?
I don't know.
Gager's not happy with the bathroom here at EST headquarters. The boys got to start aiming a little bit better, or just clean up after yourself. That's it, right?
Perfectly honest, a lot of times I sit to pee. I do. Most guys do their best thinking on the throne anyway, let's face it.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Have a sit, relax.
Just
take a load off. Just chill.
Just chill. It's 1:42 here on Friday afternoon. It's EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and Zachticum behind the camera. Up next, we'll continue. Maybe we'll continue this top 50 NHL player list. We'll also get to some Elks as well. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. But up first, here's a sports update with Zachticum.
Elks and Bombers go tonight, and the entire EST crew will be down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the action. Come hang out with some of us and all the nasties. Kickoff for that game is at 6. In BC, it's the Ticats up against the Lions. That game goes at 8:30. And in NHL preseason action tonight, the Avs versus Stars, Preds, Lightning, and Kraken and Canucks with the opening game at 4 o'clock. The Edmonton Oilers get back at it tomorrow against the Seattle Kraken. Jets defenseman Logan Stanley undergoes knee surgery and will be out a minimum of 4 weeks. The Jets game starts at 6 p.m. Jets veteran forward Brian Little will sign a one-day contract to retire as a Jet. Little will celebrate his career October 20th when the Jets host the Pens. Cowboys edge rushers Micah Parsons suffered a high ankle sprain in yesterday's win against the Giants. The Cowboys play their next game against the Steelers October 6th. Raiders wide receiver Devontae Adams and DB Max Crosby have been ruled out for Sunday's game against the Browns. Bears wide receiver Keenan Allen is also questionable for that one. Just after the break, EST Afternoons continues. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
Come get your game on at The Ranch. The Ranch lets it all hang out with a championship caliber design, premier conditions, and above all, a fun laid-back experience. Get top-notch service and unmatched value every time you play at The Ranch. Think you have what it takes to go low? The best value for your golfing buck is always The Ranch. The Ranch Golfing Country. 10, 50, 100, and 200 round packs on sale. TheRanchGolf.com.
Celebrate the grand opening of Sit and Sleep and discover a revolutionary way to shop for mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, you'll get free local delivery on any mattress over $5.99 and receive a bamboo cooling mattress protector. And opening savings now with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
$146. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and of course our lovely producer Zachticum. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat or text us at 780-218-9999. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Wadding Cloverdale says, Reed and Jay are sponsored by Sit and Sleep. Your show should be sponsored by Sit and Pee.
Yeah, it should be done too.
Today's Gager has been tamed, not like the renegade sunshine boy who peed whenever.
Yeah, but I was outdoors for that picture. If anyone ever has it, I gotta find it. It might be on microfiche.
What year was that?
2001, August 2001.
Someone's got it in the Edmonton Sun archives.
There's got to be a hoarder somewhere with the newspapers stacked up somewhere.
Yeah, this one from the Playbook says, afternoon, fellas. First time tuning into the new show. Have to say you two have great chemistry. Thanks. Thank you very much. And he says, Al Michaels had me in stitches right before halftime last night. Wouldn't be surprised if he got a slap on the wrist from the league. He was pretty honest about what was going on in that game. It was so bad, but it was funny. And just to hear Al Michaels kind of go that way was pretty entertaining.
He was an angry old man.
Yes, he was. Like, stop throwing flags. And then he says, not sure if you guys are into fantasy football as Dusty is, but he has a question for us. Should I drop Anthony Richardson and just stream Geno Wilson and Caleb Williams the rest of the way? You know what, Playbook? We know NFL. None of us do fantasy right now. Kind of dropped that a few years ago. Dusty's still in the building, so if he's listening or if we can catch him before he leaves, we'll ask him for you, and we'll say it on air, or we'll just text you back with the answer. But
Didn't you announce that you were done with fantasy at the old place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
now.
I only do NHL.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm very good at it. I'm the king when it comes to NHL fantasy. But you know what? NFL just stressed me out too much.
It's good because you suck at F1 fantasy.
Hey, if you could only be good at one, I'd be NHL. I was really good at baseball too.
Really?
Yeah, but baseball is really time consuming because you're doing it every day. And sometimes there's games at 10 a.m. and you're just all over the place. But I went pure Moneyball strategy.
Oh, did you?
And I played 2 seasons and I finished top of the league both times. So it was pretty cool.
Start calling you Brad Pitt.
Yes. Yeah. A sad day for Oakland yesterday. Did you see that?
That was terrible, man. I mean, yeah, all their sports franchises ripped from them. I love that movie Moneyball.
Oh, it's probably top 3 in my favorite movies of all time.
I mean, baseball. If you're gonna go sports movies, I think baseball is the easiest to make. They're always the best. I don't know why it is, but they always, even for a non-baseball fan, I find that they are the best ones.
And I'll say this: the best part of Moneyball is the book because it goes really in depth.
See, I gotta read that book.
It's great.
Yeah, I bet.
Like the stuff they left. Obviously, it's a movie, so you can't put everything in there. But former Blue Jays GM JP Riccardi was part of his.
Oh,
crew.
really?
Yeah, but they wanted Billy Beane, but Billy wasn't going to leave, right? And so then they took his he worked for him, so they took him, but it didn't work for the Blue Jays. Well, it didn't work for Oakland either because they've never won anything. They just won 20 in a row, right? And I love saying Scotty H. That's just a classic movie. You think baseball movies are the best sports movies?
Yeah.
What about football?
Well, that's a good.
Any Given Sunday.
Well, that's the only one. Name another one.
The Program? Have you ever seen The Program?
Of course, Latimer.
Yeah.
Of course, you've seen The Program. But yeah, there's 2. Like, is there another one? I mean, there's The Replacements or whatever, but they're kind of silly.
The Replacements.
But you look at baseball.
The Blind
Major
Side.
League. I never watched that thing. I don't.
I just had
After I heard, I was going to watch that movie, but then I heard the parents were shady, and so I didn't.
The Blind Side. Remember the Titans with Denzel?
That one's good. Okay. 3.
Actually, I'm going to look this up. There's got to be more than 3.
The Water Boy.
Oh.
Friday Night Lights.
Oh, that's a good one. We Are Marshall, the true story about the plane crash.
Wasn't that the guys that ate each other in the Andes? Was that a rugby team?
That was a rugby team from Uruguay. Yeah. No, this was the Marshall college team, and their plane went down, and they all passed away, and then they built the program from scratch. Matthew McConaughey's in it, plays the coach. How about Draft Day, Gager? That's a classic, man.
It's pretty cheesy, though. It has Costner in it, but Field of Dreams, The Natural. Now I'm
Rudy.
blank. Rudy's good, I guess. I don't know. I find them better. If we're gonna, you know what, a bracket of maybe that. I'll talk to Dusty about that. Maybe we have a bracket, like a of sports movies going up against one another, right?
I think didn't they do that?
I don't think they.
No, they did. Was it movie characters? They had a huge one that they won an award for.
But I'm saying just sports movies and randomly draw them and have them go up against, or we rank them, have the nasties kind of rank these sport teams, create a big draw and see who wins at the end. I'd say it's a baseball movie.
This one, Channel says, remember the Titans, Denzel, which is good. This one says, you guys are naming mediocre football movies when there is Major Leagues, Field of Dreams, The Natural, Bull Durham. No, it's fair.
I said that. I said Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, of course. I mean, half of them do involve Kevin Costner. What's the one, the Perfect Game? Awesome.
42.
42, jeez.
Yeah. For the Love of the Game, also Kevin Costner, The Rookie.
I mean, Any Given Sunday is great, Oliver Stone, but it's over the top. It's way over the top. I wish that they did have to this day, I don't think there has been a very good, like a real good hockey movie aside from Slapshot.
Youngblood's good.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
What do you mean it doesn't happen?
No.
Like, there's no fight and everybody just watches in the middle.
No, that does not. It's too theatrical. The funny. You know what? I have to. I don't want to say this. I shouldn't say this. But I haven't watched Shoresy yet, and it's a TV show, so it doesn't count. But I have to see what that's like. But
I've heard Shoresy's good too.
I heard it's probably pretty good.
You know who told me to watch Shoresy? My Cloud Bethel Thompson.
Really?
I was like, what?
Terry Ryan told me to watch Shoresy, actually. So.
On the inbox, Callan St. Albert, Gregor, Sully, they all say Varsity Blues. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Rob the Plumber says The Last Boy Scout is pretty good. I think, is that?
That's with Wayans and Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's old school. And on the Nasty Chat, The Sandlot. That's a classic.
See, baseball.
Yaki also says Varsity Blues. Matt at the Garrison says Rudy. Adam Zeal, Miracle for a hockey movie.
That's good. That's a good one.
That's a
You're
good
right.
one.
That is a good one.
Goon.
I don't mind Goon.
You know who hates Goon? Strutty.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't like Goon, but I like the checks in the back, sitting in the back of the bus. It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like the Euro, they got the Euros right a little bit, which is kind of funny.
Channel Friday Night Lights. This one says, when I was a kid, this is from Peter, says there was a show named Gabby Dugan, a down and out hockey player. I've never heard of that. No, there's not a lot of hockey. I mean, I saw one. This one says boxing movies are better sports movies than football.
See, boxing. You got to get like one of the greatest documentaries. Sporting documentaries of all time is When We Were Kings, the Muhammad Ali, George Foreman in Zaire.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
And Will Smith did an excellent job.
He did. I don't mention Will Smith's name.
Do you consider Rocky movies great? Because I do.
Yeah, because how do you not want to go to the gym after watching the training scene? You're like, I'm going to get... Every guy watches a Rocky movie and says, I'm going to go get in shape after this. And they don't. And I say the exact same thing.
But they're
great.
He's not even a real boxer, but in my head, when I think of great boxers, I think Rocky. And it's not even I know he dabbles in it, but he's never really fought anyone.
And wasn't he like that whole Ultimate Fighter or the next great fight? He was on the first couple seasons with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
And I remember it was such a bad show, but I remember him on on a pole machine going, "This is great because you got the resistance," and he was talking to these boxers. And this guy, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you got to see the documentary of him on. I think it's on Netflix.
Ooh,
it's about how he came up. Yeah, it's really good. It's pretty emotional too, like his upbringing.
I cry at 30-second TikTok videos with America's Got Talent. I don't need that.
Do you like the new the Apollo?
I did. I like the first two. I haven't watched
What are they
three.
called? Is that what they're called? Creed. They're great.
They're great.
If you're not running through a wall after the music kicks in and he starts working out, getting ready.
It's unreal. Yeah, I love those. I love those.
Yeah,
ones.
and I love that Rocky was a part of the first one or the first
two.
First two, yeah.
The Hurricane with Denzel, great boxing.
Oh, great. True
unreal.
story.
True story. And there was the one with Russell Crowe was really good too.
Oh, which one's that one?
I forget the name of that boxing one. Unbelievable. That was when Russell Crowe was rocking and rolling with Gladiator and Perfect Mind or whatever. Yeah. All those things. He hit some out of the park there. Lots of great. Oh God, Trent H. Sorry, of course, Raging Bull.
Yeah.
De Niro. Just fantastic
E-Town.
sports movies. I mean, are there any good ones now?
Not recent.
I'm fingers crossed. The next 2025, the summer, the new Brad Pitt F1 movies coming out.
Oh.
Hopefully, because there's real footage in there. They were following around F1 last year a lot of times. He was showing up and walking around in a racing suit, which is kind of I don't know how, if I was a racer, how I'd take that. These guys are making a movie and I'm trying to get ready and win something and my job depends on it.
Did you ever see Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise?
Oh, yeah.
Is good? I can't remember.
You haven't seen that?
No.
That's good.
E-Town and B-Town says A League of Their Own. That's a pretty good movie, yes.
Cinderella Man.
Thank
Man,
yeah. Callan St. Albert says Mystery Alaska, solid hockey movie.
That's with Russell Crowe, too.
Yeah.
Horrible skating stride. I think the opening scene is him just ankle burning up the river in Alaska. It's pretty bad, but I think he did a lot of it, though. He played.
Yeah, and then Bone says Shorzy is good if you like Letter Kenny. Very, very similar. And then Deaky Sparks, oh, buddy, Shorzy's pretty damn good. Man, I gotta look into that one.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
Have you seen the new Beverly Hills Cop, with Axel Foley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how it starts at the hockey game.
I know. It's that's great. It
was pretty good.
Yeah, but we're at a certain vintage where like all those old jokes and the guys in it are familiar. I liked it because it was more nostalgic than anything else, I think. And but yeah, Dawson Nielsen, nothing beats Slapshot. Nothing still beats Slapshot. I mean that movie, I must have watched that at least 300, 400 times.
I like when the goalie's on the phone. When he's like, trade me.
Oh, yeah. Denis Lemieux continue sa saison.
I still love Youngblood. I know my boy Dean Millard, if he's watching. We're both big Dean Youngblood guys here with Patrick Swayze. Like Patrick Swayze and Rob Lowe made a hockey movie about a team in Hamilton. Like that's amazing.
The Mustangs. Yeah.
But you say it doesn't happen like that. So.
No, that's
all right. That's going to wrap up hour one here on EST Afternoons. Coming up in hour number 2, we'll get to some Elks talk. We'll also be joined by Edmonton Oil Kings head coach Luke Pierce and Matthew Iwanyk, as he'll have the Green and Gold kickoff show at 5 live from the Century Casino down at 4 Road. That's all coming up in the second hour here on EST Afternoons.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Few of us can say that we're over 60 and still hot, but Mr. Mike's Burger can. And to celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in only price of just $8.99. Sides extra. It's Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30th. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
Elks and Bombers go at it tonight in CFL action, and the entire EST crew will be live from the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for that one. The Reed Wilkins Show from 3 to 5 will be on location, leading into the Green and Gold kickoff show from 5 to 6. The action going down at 6 o'clock. Out in BC, the 5-9 Ticats play the 7-7 Lions. That game is at 8:30, and NHL preseason action continues tonight with the Avs and Stars, Preds and Lightning, as well as the Kraken and Canucks, with the opening game at 4. The Oilers get back at it tomorrow against the Seattle Kraken. Kings defenseman Drew Doughty is to undergo surgery on his fractured ankle and is listed as month-to-month. In 82 games last season, Doughty scored 15 goals and 35 assists for 50 total points. Green Bay Packers have officially listed QB Jordan Love as questionable for Sunday's game against the Vikings. Love practiced all week this week, dealing with an MCL sprain. Falcons running back Bijan Robinson fully participated in practice and is good to go against the Saints. The Saints-Falcons game is Sunday at 11. EST afternoon continues right now with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Zachary Kubusch. That was your EST update.
2:03. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Static free since 23. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas. The Kubes is rocking an Elks jersey. Big Uke Sasky. You want to show that puppy off there?
Yeah, sure.
It's vintage.
Yeah, let's see this here.
Oh, yeah.
Get me up on screen.
Yeah. That looks sharp, man.
I don't know what year this one's from, but
that's
I love
old school, man.
It's another thrift find, Gager.
Yeah, this guy's
$15.
I like your style.
You might not be a winner, but you do shop there. I'm kidding. You are a winner, buddy. You are a winner.
Just quickly on the movie stuff. This one says a good new boxing movie, Jake Gyllenhaal, called Southpaw. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Man. It's really sad too.
Very sad.
And then Propane Pimp says Youngblood is unrealistic, but it's totally realistic for a pitcher to go to the major leagues directly from prison and goes to come out of the cornfields and thousands of people come to watch him play ball. It's a good one for Propane
That's really
Pimp.
good. Thank you, Propane Pimp, for that one. That was that made me laugh. Jason Tremblay, did you see this one in the text line? He writes in, question for you guys. If Broberg was put on waivers, any other team in the NHL would pick him up at the salary he's making this year. I don't think they're allowed to put him on waivers, are they?
Maybe
There's
it's a hypothetical
rules
here.
if you offer a offer sheet or something. I got to look into this.
He can't be traded, I think, for a whole year or something like that.
There's something like that. Jason, we'll try to find some intelligent person that knows the answer to this. But I thought there were certain rules that if they were on an offer sheet, it's like if you pick up, well, I'm not sure if this has changed at all, but I'm pretty sure it's similar. If you pick up a player on waivers, you can't send them down right away. They have to stay with the team for a month. I believe. Yeah. And then there's certain things. If he goes back to the team that you originally picked him up on waivers from, that team, I think, has the ability to send him straight down to the minors. Because it happened to a buddy of mine. I'll save that story for another time.
This coming from the LA Kings PR. They announced defenseman Drew Doughty will undergo surgery to repair a fractured ankle and is listed month to month. That's a huge blow to the LA Kings.
That's a big fracture then.
Yeah.
If it's not going to heal that, that tells me it's like what's it called when it twists? Like the bone twists. It's not a compound fracture because that's when it comes out of the skin, but some spiral fracture maybe or something. I don't know what it's called. If there are any doctors out there, but that tells me that the bone shifted a lot.
Yeah.
And something has to be done to get in there or there's maybe because they said it was it depends how the fracture was. Maybe they have to get in and put some pins in it and stuff. But months, they're sunk.
So this is from Dennis Bernstein, friend of the show from the fourth period, says it's not season ending, but they won't give a timeline on the return. And that's I already had LA falling down the Pacific Division. I think this is going to push them right there, Gager. They're going to be right there with Seattle and Calgary, I think.
Again, we're getting back to this defensive conversation with defensemen and how much they mean to a team. And obviously Doughty has a little bit longer in the tooth, but this guy's just a stud. And I'm just trying to find he's on the IR. That's 11 million of cap space that frees up, right? So gives them a little bit of leeway, but depending on his time frame, that's interesting. Very, very interesting.
I think they're going to try to, what's the word I'm looking here for? Promote within. Sounds like Brant Clark wants to get a shot there, but that's I'm trying to think who are they talking about, the young defenseman, but
I'm looking at some non-roster defense with the LA Kings right now, and there's Caleb Jones. I don't think that's really going to replace the 35 minutes that Drew Doughty plays a night.
So right now they have it listed as Gavrikov with Jordan Spence, which is pretty good. Mikey Anderson with Kyle Burrows, and then Joel Edmondson with Brant Clark, which is not a sexy defense.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Taylor and Mike from Calgary say spiral fracture.
Yeah, I think it's spiral fracture. So if it's like that, I think you got to get in there and reset everything and stuff. So
not just the Oilers have defense problem now. You can add the LA Kings to that mix.
Yeah, and again, depending on that time frame, the healing of that coming back.
That's crazy.
Months?
That's it. That's why I hate the preseason. Absolutely hate it.
Look at all the injuries, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched a little bit of the Leafs Montreal game yesterday, and I think it was Robertson did that thing where you push
you give him the nudge.
Yeah, to Nylander. Hey, Robertson, you're pushing Nylander to go back check. First of all, it's like an oxymoron. But I mean, here's a guy that's trying really hard, and Nylander's kind of just getting ready for the season. He goes down, gets kind of sideswiped. Obviously, gets hit in the head. I mean, man, the preseason. It's just, I think it should just be 5 games of straight guys that are on the bubble.
Yeah.
Like no,
yeah.
The rule that you have to have NHLers in games is stupid, and the only reason that they do it is because they want people to buy tickets. Because now, if you know that there's probably just going to be guys that you've never heard, all the name bars are you've never seen before, you're not going to go watch these games, obviously. But now you're putting in jeopardy. What's more important?
Yeah.
A preseason game where you're not getting probably full ticket prices anyway, or losing someone that's integral to your team, that's the possibilities of making the playoffs are now tremendously diminished because you've lost a guy for 3 months.
And Drew Doughty didn't have to be in that game.
And he's got no off switch. Like, that's the thing. Like, you can't. It was mentioned. It was mentioned on the broadcast. I don't know who said it. I think it was actually Kiprios. He said you can't play. It was Bourne. You can't play 50%. You can't play at 50% hockey, or you risk getting injured. And it's true.
Yeah,
you get these guys in competitive situations, racing for a puck. There's that competitive nature. Why do you think they're playing in the best league on the planet as it is? Dumb.
I'm with you. That's a game Doughty doesn't need to be playing. And like you said, these guys are at that level for a reason. Drew Doughty doesn't play at 80%. It's 100 the whole time there. And Zachticum did put up the video while we were talking about the. We saw the injury, and it was a pretty bad one as well. Quaddy says the reason you pick McDavid to start a franchise by far over anyone is because he's money in the bank. People pay to see him electrify, leadership, effort, points, etc. is secondary to butts and seats. He also has Kadri left practice now, knee-on-knee collision at practice for the oh, man. Knock on wood for the Edmonton Oilers here.
So, Quaddy, you're putting a lot of intangibles into this. I think our original conversation, we were just looking at it from not putting butts in seats, anything else. This is strictly just starting a team. And granted, if you add that wow factor of maybe being in a place with maybe not so much of a hockey market, it's kind of a no-brainer to start with McDavid, because he'll bring non-hockey people out of their seat, even if they don't know the game, just because he's so electric. But I've laid out my things. I don't have to go over them.
Hey, you want to hear something cool about this day in sports history for the Edmonton Oilers? On this day in 2001, the Oilers named Jason Smith the captain, taking over for Dougie Wade.
Really?
Gator, a guy, I think the Oilers picked him off waivers. Or
Did they?
Wait, let me double check that. Or they got him for pretty much nothing here.
I think Gator and I got drafted the same year. He was a first rounder to New Jersey, I believe.
Let's see here. Jason Smith. Yes, he was 18th overall. I'm just going to look at how the Oilers acquired him because I think Toronto pretty much gave him away. Yeah, they traded him to Edmonton for a 4th-round pick and a 2nd-round pick, and neither guy ever played in the NHL, and this guy was an absolute horse for the Edmonton Oilers.
Quaddy just wrote back, thanks for the clarification. Still McDavid. Obviously, Quaddy has started his weekend early.
Yes, he has. Are you okay with Nylander being number 20 on this list?
Is it bad to say that I've kind of liked William Nylander's game as of late? Like,
no, not at all.
Like
it's just I think it's a little too high for him. I think he should be on the list, though.
Look, man. Austin Matthews is a great player. He'll be, once Ovi's done, he'll be the best scorer in the NHL at the present time. But when it counts most over the last few years, we measure success on when the games mean the most. William Nylander has been the best consistent forward in the playoffs for the Toronto Maple Leafs for the past couple seasons.
Yeah.
When they've looked to, maybe they should have put the C on him.
I'll ask you this, and these players are excellent, but I don't know if they're in the top 50 just yet. Noah Dobson at number 40. He had 70 points last year. He's the Islanders' best defenseman. And then the other one is Robert Thomas, who had 86 points. Is that correct? Yes, for the St. Louis Blues. And again, excellent players, but I don't know. Like, is it too soon to have these guys in that top 50 list? And Wyatt Johnson rounds it out, by the way, at number 50.
I only know, perfectly honest, full disclosure, Robert Thomas I've only watched during Oilers games. And he's looked really, really good.
Yeah. He's got the pedigree.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to say, if he breaks the top 50, he's play up against a team that was 2 goals away from winning the Stanley Cup and dominating at times on the ice and making it life difficult. I have no problem with him in the top 50. But that's me saying that without seeing him on a regular nightly basis, which I'll probably this year, if the St. Louis Blues are playing, have a side eye glance towards 2 former Oilers on that team to see how they're doing.
Is it too soon for Wyatt Johnson to be? He's going into his 3rd season. His career high was last year at 65 points. Awesome player. When he scored in OT late against the Oilers, every jabroni wrote an article how the Oilers missed on it. But believe me, 22 other teams missed on him as well.
Yeah, I mean it
just wasn't the Oilers.
Like you've seen probably the TikTok him and on the ice with the skills. Like he's a highly, highly skilled guy that came in, and I believe when he was first, he was a 4th line and has moved up the lineup.
Yeah, he's a great player.
He's a great player. The Stars are going to be good, man.
This one says, I'd give Tommy's left ball to a Jason Smith type player.
That's
good. Caster 1990 says, baseball is the sport that best lends itself to film. Film have 3 acts, and baseball 9 innings are divisible by 3. One of the best baseball movies is 8 Man Out.
Ooh, 8 Man Out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Man. The Scandal.
With
John Cusack. So let us know. Is Wyatt Johnson too soon for him to be in the top 50? Am I overreacting that Noah Dobson and Robert Thomas maybe shouldn't be in it? Or did they miss the boat by not putting the grade 8 Alexander Ovechkin? Because in the article, it says there's room only for 1 grade 8. Because Cale Makar is the other one. Cale Makar is the other one.
If that's what it comes down to, yes, then they got it right.
Checking the nasty chat.
Dolphinius, I believe the name is into the nasty chat. I heard Tommy Shorts are giving a 2-point spread for the Bombers tonight. Tommy Shorts. It's taken a life of its own. Zach, you're not a fan of the short shorts, are you? Do you have short shorts, or are you more of a knee-high guy?
I had this one buddy whose dad always wore the short shorts, and anytime I had to go talk to him, I would look up to the ceiling to try and avoid it. So no, to answer your question, I do not like the short shorts. I'm more of a basketball shorts guy myself. No, I'll leave it short.
Michigan Fab 5 Longer shorts.
I like short shorts when I run, but like what if I'm going out? No, like the 1980s short shorts. Remember the soccer players used to wear? It was like a Speedo, man. Yeah.
Like the John McEnroe, Bjorn Borg. Like those are.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe you can't. Like they
How
have
do you
to
play in those? It's crazy.
There's some tape or vice material going on there.
This one from Jason, the Acadian, says, I like Nylander. Somehow he has the opposite Toronto effect. Instead of overrating him, he's been overexposed and has had his negative attributes inflated. I'm with you. I like Nylander. I think outside Austin Matthews on the team, he kind of carries the weight for that team. And Mitch Marner is surprisingly, where is Mitch? Good old Mitch is 23 on this list. Top goaltender Gager is Igor Shesterkin, followed by Connor Hellebuck.
I got a problem with that a little bit, but I still think Vasilevsky's
better,
the best.
Well, he's won. He's won the Cup. Wow, too.
I just and I know that. Who did Bobrovsky go through? Like he went through both of them last year, right? That was pretty impressive.
It was good for Bob to bounce back because he had some rough years.
Oh yeah, he's had it rough since he left Columbus.
Yeah,
was it Columbus to Florida? I believe that's how the path went. Bob's a great goalie, man. I would say Bobrovsky probably has the best blocker in the league, which is a weird thing to, but. Gosh, that guy, he's perfect with that thing.
Dolphinius says, I heard Iwanyk is changing the name of the hangout to the Hang Him Out. and our buddy Guy Flaming, who won an EST, says, man, just tuning in and wondering WTF has been going on here today. Yeah, we're all over the place, but it's been fun. It's been absolutely fun. And then Deontay says, Tommy Shorts, the problem is having to stare at that for 2 hours. Yeah. All the while there's an open chair facing the other direction.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh, Tommy boy, he's it's been a rough week.
His shorts have their own Tinder profile.
I like the giggle there behind.
That was you years ago.
Yeah. Did you see Trevor's video yesterday?
No, I didn't.
He's playing disc golf. You can probably explain it better.
Yeah, he was out playing disc golf, as Hernan said, and he kind of, he wore shorts in a certain way to resemble, one of his idols, Tom Gazzola. Actually, I could pull it up here if you guys want.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think people want to.
Whatever. Yeah,
maybe just snap a picture of it or something, and we can show our viewers. But it's 2:21. Coming up at 2:30, we're going to get to Luke Pierce, the head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, as they have their home opener tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 at Rogers Place as they take on the Calgary Hitmen. That's coming up next here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. But first up, here's a sports update with Zach.
I'll try and leave it short, but it's the Elks and Bombers tonight with the entire EST crew down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the action. It's the Reed Wilkins Show from 3 to 5, leading into the Green and Gold kickoff show with Matthew Iwanyk and Jay Milne from 5 to 6. Kickoff at 6 p.m. for that one. BC Lions face the Ticats tonight. That game is at 8:30, and the NHL preseason continues with the Avs Stars, Preds Lightning, and Kraken Canucks with the opening game at 4 o'clock. The Orange and Blue Oilers get back at it tomorrow against the Kraken. Kings defenseman Drew Doughty is to undergo surgery on his fractured ankle and is listed as month-to-month. In 82 games last season, Doughty scored 15 goals and 35 assists for 15 total points. Flames forward Nazem Kadri collided with teammate Blake Coleman in practice. Flames head coach Ryan Huska says, quote, "From the way it looks, we got lucky." Jets defenseman Logan Stanley is undergoing knee surgery and will be out a minimum of 4 weeks. The Jets game tonight goes at 6. And in the NFL, Falcons RB Bijan Robinson fully participated in practices and is good to go against the Saints. While it was Saints wide receiver Chris Olave out day-to-day with a hamstring injury that he suffered in practice. Saints Falcons is Sunday at 11. Just after the break, EST Afternoons continues. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and that was your EST Update.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbocharge. Good.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Come get your game on. The Ranch lets it all hang out with a championship caliber design, premier conditions, and above all, a fun laid-back experience. Get top-notch service and unmatched value every time you play at the Ranch. Think you have what it takes to go low? The best value for your golfing buck is always the Ranch. The Ranch Golf and Country Club. 10, 50, 100, and 200 round packs on sale. TheRanchGolf.com.
It's 2:25 here on EST Afternoons, Edmonton Sports Talk. If you want to listen to us, hit up EdmontonSportsTalk.com, iTunes, Radio or iHeartRadio, or watch us on the EST YouTube channel. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat. It's been pretty active today, or text us at 780-218-9999. We're about 5 minutes away from chatting with Edmonton Oil Kings head coach Luke Pierce. Like I said before the break, they're going to have their home opener tomorrow at 2 p.m. at Rogers Place as they welcome in the Calgary Hitmen. They started last week in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, back-to-back Friday, Saturday. They lost both games by 2 goals. So we'll just get a feel for what's going on early on here for the Edmonton Oil Kings. They also made a trade earlier in the week as well, and we'll get to all that as well. Were you able to find the short shorts? No?
I got it here. I know where it is. It was on Twitter. We reposted it everywhere, but I just got to connect it here. It's such a funny video. Trev's a legend.
He's really coming into his own, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. The growth of these two young bucks is it's fun to watch.
Yeah. So just let us know when you have that. We'll probably get to it before Luke Pierce joins us, because when he joins us, he sees that, he's going to be like, what the hell's going on there? So he's just working on that right now, and he'll give us a thumbs up when it's all ready to go. Gage, are you coming tonight?
I got work to do, but I'm going to try. I could try to get it done here.
Just make an appearance?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to pick up the daughter at dance?
Yeah. No, I don't. She's actually doesn't have dance. So the studio's moving. That I think I got to move on Sunday. Jesus.
Yeah, we're ready to go. Here's YouTube Trev from yesterday.
A stretch too. Oh my god!
Oh boy!
Yeah, cool delivery of the old disc there.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Maybe a little bit more time on the squat rack, but other than that, pretty good form.
This one says from Wadding Cloverdale, if you're down at Sentry tonight, check out Fraser Downs. I'm driving in the first 5 races. Harness racing, also known as the Amish NASCAR, Wadding Cloverdale. Man, it's going to be a wild night. It's going to be really fun.
Oh, it's Friday. It's going to be, if you get a chance, come on down and see the boys. Watch the game. It should be good. Relaxed atmosphere.
We haven't talked about it, but, I mean, this is a playoff game for the Edmonton Elks. I was talking to my buddy who's an equipment manager in Winnipeg. He says vibes are good. It's beautiful in Winnipeg.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 30 degrees the other day.
Yeah,
right?
he said today for game time it's going to be like 24, 25. And that stadium's always close to a sellout, if not a sellout. And it's a wonderful, wonderful stadium. Top notch.
It's Princess Auto Stadium. Is that correct?
Princess Auto Stadium. And they got this heckler behind the Elks bench.
Yeah.
He's always there. And I think I've told this story before. He's great because he doesn't swear.
Oh,
like he's not inappropriate.
Yeah.
But his content to like sometimes I'm looking at guys on the bench and they're even laughing. They're like, yeah, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's the way you're supposed to do it.
It's good. I think we were talking about the same. There's a guy, I want to say in San Francisco that heckles the guys in the outfield, but he's smart about it, right? He says like, hey, so-and-so, your mom didn't put your artwork on the fridge, did they, you bum? Or something like that. Like just like totally off the beat, but kind of like, what did he just tell me?
This text. I'm sorry, Deaky Sparks. He says, riveting iHeartRadio moment of the year there. Yeah, that was for our viewers, obviously. So apologies. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm like, wait, we're on the radio too. Yeah.
Sorry,
so that's our bad.
Well, unfortunately, the audio didn't fully come through either.
Yeah.
Like you guys were hearing it because Trev just went up to the camera with his little shorts on and riding up his leg, and he's just like, "This one's for you, Tommy," and just sent the disc like going hundreds of 100 yards or something. He whipped that thing. So
yeah, it was. I forgot about that too.
Andrea says, looking forward to the watch party tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a fun night. We think it's quesadillas, and if it's not, I apologize because I've been promoting it all week. I have no idea.
Is there a way we can find that out, Zach?
I think we could check it out on the...
Yeah, I'm probably going to go with some hot wings.
Are you?
I'm a hot wing guy, yeah.
Yeah?
With a nice beer. Like, is there a better combo than that?
It's tough to beat.
Yeah.
Chips. Nah.
Do you use ranch, blue cheese, anything like that?
I like the blue cheese.
I like the blue cheese as well, yeah. That's the way to do it.
I'm not a big... I used to be a ranch guy, but I don't want... Yeah, it doesn't work for me anymore. If I have the choice, it's always blue cheese. Even if it's just ranch, I say no.
Yeah. Do you go any other flavor? It's just hot.
I'll experiment. But yeah, it's hot wings. Like I love hot wings. That's usually... If there's a garlic hot wing, I'll go with that or something, but yeah.
I just feel like when it comes to wings, it always has to be hot. Because then that's what the beer's for, is to soothe the hotness, the spiciness, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I see a lot of debate about bone in or nugs.
Well, if I want chicken nuggets, I'll have chicken nuggets. If I want wings, I'll have wings. Boneless wings are chicken nuggets. Like, this is, do you want them boneless? That just sounds weird. I don't want a chicken without bones. That's some weird thing. There's no such thing as a boneless wing. That's a chicken nugget.
Yeah, I'm with you. They're not bad though, but yeah. We'll continue the wing talk here as we go. Reminder, go down to Centric Casino 4 Road. Reed Wilkins will be there with his show with Jay Milne from 3 to 5. And at 5, it's the Green and Gold kickoff. But we're going to switch gears, head to the ice as the Edmonton Oil Kings have their home opener tomorrow against the Calgary Hitmen. And we're now joined by the head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, Luke Pierce. Luke, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. First time here, and I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Your team kicked off their season on the road in Lethbridge on last Friday and Medicine Hat on Saturday. The games didn't go your way, Luke, with a couple of 2-goal losses. But what were some of the positives you took out of the first 2 games on the road?
Well, I think just getting those under our belt is important. I think missing a lot of the guys' major pieces of our roster, and but a good experience for some of our young players that are going to be important pieces too for us. So I like the improvement from game 1 to game 2. I didn't like our game 1 much at all, and then I thought game 2 there in Medicine Hat could have probably gone either way with a couple of breaks, but just very young group, and adding some of the guys back from NHL camps now, I think we'll see a much more mature team that's capable of pulling those out more often.
Luke, who's come back from NHL camps, and you're striking some memories for me back in the days when guys would come back from NHL camps. And it kind of gives the guys that maybe the younger guys a little bit of a boost. What kind of effect does that have on a team when you get guys that have played with some NHL superstars?
Yeah, it's a fantastic experience, first and foremost, for the kids, especially the guys that are doing it for the first time. And we've had a large number, like we had 7 guys away this year. So it speaks, to the program and to the work those kids have put in, but to the point of for young players to see them come back and those guys are talking in the room and, sharing the ice with Mitch Marner and Matthews and guys like that in Toronto when we had Marshall Finney and Miro Holinka there, and, Adam Nieko in St. Louis with Jake Neighbors, and, obviously close ties with us, and being able to share that story. The kids that are here now really just know of Jake. They don't know really who he is. So, I think it's a huge boost of confidence for them, and it gives them a little bit of a carrot to want to get there themselves and see that step isn't that far away. Like, it's, as you know, Joaquin, it's close, but yet so far, and makes it seem a little bit closer when guys are doing it.
Luke, looking forward to your home opener tomorrow against the Calgary Hitmans, 2 p.m. at Rogers Place. Just go to the Edmonton Oil Kings site for tickets. What are you expecting from the Calgary Hitmen tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, they're a strong team. I feel like they're maybe the one team that's getting a little bit overlooked, especially in our division, which we think is going to be really strong. They got a very strong group of defensemen. Carter Yakimchuk's not going to be there. He's still in Ottawa with the NHL club. So, for them, that's a big miss. But they got some young D there that are, I think, outstanding, very offensive. So for us, we've got to make sure that we're trying to have them in a little bit and make them defend. But, up front, they're led by Oliver Talk and Carson Wetch, both real established, strong players in our league. So I think it's going to be a real strong rivalry throughout the season. And, between them and Medicine Hat, I really feel like they're going to be a challenge here in our division.
Luke, you have a player on your roster, Blake Fiddler, who's seems to be well beyond his years at the junior level for a defenseman. As they get old, coming up to draft year status, there's a little bit more pressure on him. As a coach, having a player of his pedigree, how do you kind of try to help? I know he has the help of his father, obviously, but as a head coach, how do you prepare him for this type of year so he can try to focus just on the game itself and not to get too involved in all the other, maybe the outside noise of the draft and the next step that we talked about?
No, it's a fantastic point, and that's where coaching, you hope you're doing it right. Every kid's a little different, and it's trying to get to know them. I feel like Blake and I really developed a strong relationship last year, which laid the groundwork for me to push him a little harder this year. And most of that stuff comes down to helping him with, like you said, handling all the different types of pressures and just trying to clear his mind a little bit. The technique stuff in the game itself, at this point, there's always going to be little things, but that's not the main focus. It's always just trying to help him, especially Blake. He's very conscious of what's going on around him and wanting to impress not just the scouts and family but his teammates. And sometimes that's a really tough balance. So for me, it's a lot of it just trying to allow him to, keep his head clear and focus on the things that are important and, trusting that process, which is the most cliche answer I think that can be given, but it's a reality for these young guys right now.
Edmonton Oil Kings head coach Luke Pierce joining us here on EST Afternoons. Another interesting player for you, the young Joe Iginla, played 5 games last year, had 5 points. In 2 games this year, he has a goal and an assist. What are you seeing from the young man here, Joe Iginla?
Consistency, probably the biggest thing right now, and that's a really rare thing for young players. It's probably the thing we work at the most, and he led our team in points through the preseason. And you talk about Blake's maturity beyond his years. I think Joe's game is mature beyond his years, but he's got a ton of youthful enthusiasm, and that brings a lot of energy to your team. And I mentioned Jake Neighbors earlier, and I see a little bit of that in Joe, where he's full of life and enthusiasm, and lightens up your dressing room. And I think for young players to come in and provide that is extremely important. So, but his on ice play has been phenomenal, and we hope that he can continue that pace early on here.
Luke, we all know, and I know definitely from playing junior in two different programs, where one was poised to win and one was rebuilding. Now you find another year, guys getting a little bit older, being more competitive. Is this kind of the year where we can see the Oil Kings push for the playoffs and be a team to be reckoned with in a very tough division? I mean, I look down at the Medicine Hat Tigers, they seem like a wagon. Where do you see the progression of the Oil Kings this year?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the logical next step, and it's at the end of the day, we got to go through it and play the games and see what happens. And I look back to our first year here with Brad Lauer and myself in 2018, and we really didn't know what was going to transpire, and people told us we'd probably be a 22-win team, and we went to the Eastern Final. So you need to have some things just click early and go the right way. But from a pure paper roster standpoint, I think we're a playoff team for sure. And then what we're capable of beyond that, the story will kind of will unfold as we go. But the biggest thing we're trying to push with our guys is that it's not just, you don't just get a year older and add more talented players and everything works. Like, you still have to put the work in. And I thought that maybe caught us off guard on opening weekend. We thought everybody was telling us we're supposed to be a good team now, and we forgot to make sure that we put the work into.
The Oil Kings acquired 2004 born forward Rylan Warsma from the Wheat Kings earlier this week. What does he bring to your squad there, Luke?
Well, again, some maturity and that experience. I think it's important for some of the youth of our team to have that added experience, not just from being in the league, but also his playoff experience. On ice, he's got incredible speed, and I think that adds to another dynamic up front for us, that we've got really strong depth there already, but felt that we maybe needed to add a little more grit and speed, which I think he can provide. And he's got a way he can score in different ways around the net off the rush. And then you look for a little bit of a boost, just a guy that's been in one program for 4 years, and you bring him in, he gets a bit of a fresh start and a new lease on it, and hopefully we can capitalize on that bump from him.
Hey, Luke, one last one here for you. How cool is it for you to see guys like Jake Neighbors, Dylan Gunther excel at the NHL level? Like Dylan just signed a big deal there with Utah, and then Jake Neighbors with the season he had last year. Both players have become such exceptional players, and not just players, but good men off the ice. How cool is it for you to see those two guys succeed in the NHL?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, that's what we coach for. And those are two great examples. Those are kids that still keep in touch and just genuine people, and you're happy to see them succeed. But I think there was never any doubt that they were going to. So it's not like you feel like you had a massive impact on them. You played a small part, but it's also the other guys like the Jackson Weebs that sign NHL contracts or pro contracts that never probably ever expected to do that. That's a really rewarding feeling. And a Marshall Finney that came to us as an 18-year-old free agent that just experienced his first pro camp in Toronto, and likely he'll sign a contract this year. Like, those are the really rewarding ones. But yeah, it doesn't get old watching the Jakes and the Dylans and the Caden Goulies. Hopefully Sebastian Cossa here this year as well, playing in the NHL. It's a pretty neat feeling.
For sure. Luke, thank you for taking the time this afternoon. All the best tomorrow afternoon against the Calgary Hitmen, and we'll probably talk during the season with you again.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you having me.
That's Luke Pierce, the head coach for the Edmonton Oil Kings. He's got some talented players, right? You brought up Fiddler. There's Iginla. There's a lot of talent there. I know their goalie. I can't think of his name. I was looking up their stats. He seems like he's going to be a good one. Gavin Hodnett. So yeah, if you want to go check out the Oil Kings tomorrow, make sure you do support the boys. It's 2 p.m. down at Rogers Place. For tickets, go to Edmonton Oil Kings website there, and they'll hook you up. So make sure to pack that barn up for the young Oil Kings.
You finally get a Ginla in the right city, so that's the reason to go for sure.
And he's young.
He's good. He's an 08. There's some rookies on this team, but junior hockey, man, you can't beat it because it's a little bit like college basketball where there's mistakes.
Yeah.
But what happens from mistakes is chances generate, and I look at major junior hockey now, and I wouldn't have made the team. Like, there's so much better, like, positionally, conditioned. Like, it's a lot of fun. So make sure we get out and support the other team. That's it looks like, like Luke said, it's probably a playoff team.
Yeah, no, for sure. But we got to get to break as we're going to bring in Matthew Iwanyk live from Century Casinos. We're going to preview Elks-Bombers 6 p.m. kickoff. Make sure you go to the Century Casino Fort Road. We'll be down there hanging out for the Elks watch party. It's going to be a good time. ESTers, we'll see you all there. But first up, let's get to a sports update with our guy, Zachticum.
As Hernan said, the boys are having an Elks watch party for the game against the Bombers tonight. It's the Reed Wilkins Show live 3 to 5 from the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, going into the Green and Gold kickoff show with Matthew Iwanyk and Jay Milne. Kickoff for that game is at 6. Man, we'd love to see ya. The Ticats play the Lions tonight out in BC Place. That game goes at 8:30. And over in the NHL, preseason continues with the Stars against the Avs, Preds facing off against the Lightning, and the Kraken Canucks with the opening game at 4. The Oilers get back at it tomorrow against the Seattle Kraken. Kings defenseman Drew Doughty is to undergo surgery on his fractured ankle, and he's listed month to month. In 82 games last season, Doughty scored 15 goals and 50 total points for the Kings. Just defenseman Logan Stanley undergoes knee surgery and will be out for 4 weeks minimum. The Jets play tonight at 6. In the NFL, Falcons running back Bijan Robinson fully participated in practice. He's good to go against the Saints. While it was Saints wide receiver Chris Olave and running back Alvin Kamara questionable this weekend. Saints-Falcons is Sunday at 11. Green Bay Packers listed Jordan Love, their quarterback, as questionable for Sunday's game against the Vikings. Love practiced all week this week, dealing with an MCL sprain. Just after the break, CFO of Edmonton Sports Talk and the host of the Green and Gold kickoff show right here will be joining Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and now you're up to date.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Edmonton Sports Talk.
Did you just say that? That was pretty funny, buddy.
It's 2:47 here. It's EST Afternoons. We're live from the William Huff Studios here at EST headquarters in the west end of the city. Last segment here.
Bring it home, buddy. Bring it home.
We're going to talk some Elks-Bombers, and the host of the Green and Gold Kickoff Show is ready to go here, I think. Can you, Maddie, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys just fine. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
We're all connected.
You're all connected. Matthew, I wanted to get to a few things with you. Sorry, do you want to jump in or no?
No.
I was going to say, I've got a minute till race 9 at Churchill Downs. I've got number 1 pretty provocative to win.
Nice,
so we're going to see what happens. It's sloppy conditions out at Churchill.
How much you put on there? Right, how much you put on that ticket?
It's $2. I'm very, very cheap.
You pick horses. You pick horses like yourself, Maddie. You're good in the mud.
Thank you. Hernan, though, I here's the thing. It's a long night. I'm here at Century. A long day.
Yeah,
I'm here. We've got to get to the end of the Elks game plus post game. So I can't be throwing down $20 on a race or anything right now. I got to pace myself early.
But you have a lot of money,
right away, we'll see what pretty provocative can do.
All right. Hey, listen, Farhan on TSN yesterday in his conversation with Dave Naylor said a few interesting things. I'll start it off. It was a discussion about Trey Ford and McLeod Bethel-Thompson. He thinks this decision to go with MBT was a one-game decision because they're trying to get into the playoffs. He also believes new president is being named for the Elks is getting very, very close. And once that happens, they have to make a decision on Jackson and G. Simon. He also adds that those decisions are trending in the right direction. This is the best part, and I know you're going to be super happy. He said he knows there has been prelim discussions between Trey Ford's camp and the Elks on a long-term extension. But once all those other things I mentioned fall in line, he believes there will be a formal offer made to Ford to be the starter going forward. Well, what do you take away from all that, Maddie?
Yeah, I'll start with the president part of this because that's very important of all this. Basically, that's the timeline we've heard since Larry Thompson took over, was that by October, sometime in October, a new president would be named. And nothing can happen with this franchise when it comes to 2025 until you have the president in place. Like, you're not going to hire Jarris Jackson to be your head coach or not. You're not going to hire G. Roy to be your GM or not. You let the president come into place. You hire who the president is. They then decide on the GM. That GM decides on the head coach, so forth and so forth. So it's good news that, we're hearing that they're close to the president, because as exciting as Larry Thompson is a new owner, to me, the biggest thing, though, is who's going to be the president, because they're going to be the ones that really are the ones we're going to hear from and doing the stuff that we're going to be focused on when it comes to the Double E, both business and football-wise, into seeing can they change who they were from the last number of years. It's not as much Larry. It's the president's going to have to – it's going to be Larry's vision, but the president's going to do the actual job. So it's great to hear that. I'm happy to hear Trey and the organization are looking at long-term plans. We'll see how that plays out. I want him to be the starting quarterback of this team for next year and moving forward. But it also makes sense why they would go to MBT right now. The one game makes no sense to me, though, because if MBT wins, I don't know how you go to Trey Ford next week. Like, if MBT comes out today and beats the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you're sticking with MBT the rest of this season. But with that said, like, overall, I was fine with MBT coming in this season. I would have completely fine with the idea that Trey needed to be behind him this season. I said I would be okay with that if they signed Trey Ford to a long-term extension or some sort of extension. I knew he was going to be the starting quarterback come next year. So I'm more than okay also with MBT playing out this stretch run if it means, though, Trey is going to stick around here being the quarterback next year.
Yeah.
Matt, Joaquin Gage here.
Number 7 is about to win.
Matt, Joaquin Gage, 2 guys and a goalie, and EST Afternoons co-host. Matt, looking at tonight's game, last time these teams met up, the defense was great up till essentially the fourth quarter when Brady Oliveira run ram shot over him. Keys to victories for the Elks tonight. Is it so much as just eliminating the turnovers, or is it putting more points on the board, getting into those positions where they can score, and trying to make sure that by the fourth quarter, this experienced Winnipeg Blue Bombers team can't establish that run and have Oliveira just run ram shot over them again?
I'm going with the turnovers. That is the big thing. Last week, it was a 10-10 ball game. The Edmonton Elks had the ball on the 50 of their own 50, and Trey Ford threw that interception. And then the Bombers just really didn't look back then. They scored a touchdown. MBT goes out. The Elks had a chance to, I guess, go tie that game. But you just think about that situation. 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Elks have had how many turnovers already in that game? And in the end, it was tied. And the Elks were in a position to potentially go take that lead. You eliminate 6 turnovers from last week's game, and we're talking about this week, the Edmonton Elks having beaten the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Protecting the football is important. This defense and this, I got to throw the offense out there. Overall, this team had a positive, like it was plus 16, I think, going to last week, turnover ratio. They were causing turnovers and not giving the ball up until last week. They couldn't get any turnovers except one. There was the interception of Claros threw, but they gave the ball away too much. You're not winning a football game where you're going to turn the ball over 6 times. So, Brady ran well last week, but he got his 2 touchdowns after all those turnovers. If the Edmonton Elks want to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers today, they've got to protect that football. Hold on to that football. We saw it last week. It wasn't the Winnipeg Blue Bombers beating the Edmonton Elks as much as I believe the Edmonton Elks beat themselves in that game. So it may be the easy answer on that, but after your performance where you give away the ball 6 times, that to me is the key to this game. Protect that football, and you should feel that you should be able to go beat this Winnipeg Blue Bombers team because, again, 6 turnovers, and the Bombers at that point only managed 10 points. You could go beat this team if you're the Elks.
Maddie, I know you don't do predictions, so I won't ask you.
Thank you.
But what percentage would you put at that we might see Trey Ford tonight?
Now, is that packages or is that replacing MBT?
It can be anything.
20%.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we'll see him as packages. But I could see a situation here where the Edmonton Elks aren't playing well midway through the fourth quarter and the game's kind of out of hand and maybe you go to Trey at that point.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you're seeing a situation where Trey's coming in after halftime.
No.
I don't think there's a situation where he comes in during the third quarter. I think MBT is going to be afforded a leash that's at least 3 quarters. Mm. But if he goes and throws 3 interceptions and they're losing 30-3 or something, or 27-10 and it's over, maybe you see Trey because maybe, to your Farhan report, maybe then that's their, okay, well, kind of the season's somewhat over. Let's just start working on 2025. So I'll put it as 20%, which is also where I feel, I guess you could kind of relate that to how confident I am right now about the Elks and the Bombers right now.
Go ahead.
Maddie, let's get to the most important thing about tonight is the special at tonight.
What is it?
There's 2 specials. Let's get to the specials first. And how many specials will be consumed by the staff at EST?
So the 2 specials, you got the daily special, and the daily special for Friday is the quesadilla. And I'll say this, usually when you order a quesadilla, it's just on your plate, and you're like, oh, that looks fine. They have to stack the quesadillas because they're that big. Like, they're delicious. They're amazing. I had it the one Friday game that the Elks have played here or this season. Absolutely amazing. But then there's the game day special. And the game day special is the cheese and jalapeno smoky for $14.99 with the waffle fries. And as Jay and I figured out, they don't have malt vinegar. Don't blame Century. But they do have regular vinegar. The waffle fries work with regular vinegar. So those are your 2 specials that you've got. You got the daily special of quesadillas here at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Or you can get the game day special, which is the cheese and jalapeno smoky. 6 o'clock lager on special, usually an hour before the game. Today it's starting at 3 o'clock because Reed and Jay are going to be here, and they'll be taking over right away. So you can get that. Game day draft is also $5, but you want the 6 o'clock lager. As for how many specials consumed, here's the thing. I don't know how many numbers we have. I'm taking the under of 1 per person, because people are going to go off the board on the menus because the menu here is absolutely amazing. Their pizza, delicious. You can get the fish and chips, amazing. Everything is delicious. So I'm going to take, if there's 10 of us, I'm going to say under 10 daily specials because people are jumping in on other things.
All right.
I'm going chicken wings. So,
See, already, right off the bat, there's one gone.
There is, yeah.
Maddie, thank you for...
What fancies your appetite, Gager? Of those 2 specials I threw out there.
Well, it's tough. I'm leaning quesadilla, But with my partner here, the Wings, you can't beat Wings watching a game with a nice cold 6 o'clocker lager.
You ask me about specials, and then you don't even go with any of the specials.
I said I'd probably go with the quesadilla. I can do 2.
Yeah, that's an appy. That's a
good answer.
Maddie, we got to run here for Reed and Jay here, but thank you for taking the time to join us. We'll see you in a couple hours.
5 o'clock, we're going to go kickoff show.
All right, let's go. All right, we got to wrap up here. Let's wrap up with this. Dolphania says Tommy had a 2-for-1 grape special the other day. X-Ray J says, morning Nazis, Gager, Iwanyk, Hernan, and all the beauties at EST up in time to catch the tail end of the show. Thank you. Calvin C says, how much is Ford getting paid right now? He's on a rookie deal, so it's a very low, and he says, I don't think he was warranted $400,000 contract. We'll wait and see on that. And finally, they're asking us drums or flats when it comes to wings.
I like the flats.
Yeah, I'm a flats guy too.
I like the wings.
Yep, he likes both.
I'll eat them all.
I eat them all. That's going to do it for us here on EST Afternoons for the week. Enjoy the weekend. For some, it's a long weekend. We'll be back Tuesday, Gager, with another fun week of shows here. Get down to Century Casino, Fort Road, Elks-Bombers, 6 o'clock for Joaquin Gage and Zachticum. I'm Hernan Salas. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend. Go Elks. We'll chat Tuesday.